Hi, I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jesse.
And this is the Love Story Podcast. Well,
Hi, how are you?
Oh, all right. You're just going right for taking over the show.
Hi, I'm Ashley. Some things have changed around here.
Stop yourself. You are officially debuting as the new co-host.
I am.
Yes. How do you feel about that? Oh, hold on. Pause.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Love Story Wedding Show. I'm your host, Ashley Green.
It's a podcast, not a wedding show.
Sorry. God, I do that all the time. We're off to a rough start.
You're off to a rough start.
Hey, welcome to the Love Story Podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Green.
And I'm your host, Jesse. Oh, you're the host.
Co-host.
I'm the co-host?
Yes.
Got it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
Pilot, co-pilot.
Got it.
We can't both be
All right.
co-pilot. Someone has to lead this train. You got bit by the podcast bug.
I did. I really enjoyed experience, and I wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah. So we're taking 2026 to revamp our podcast format so we can talk about more things love-related. You had a great idea for your debut episode.
I did.
Prompt. Also, before you take advantage of the prompt, I do want to say we were matching in 50 Shades of Grey, and then you got cold.
I got chilly. I did. So
now
I
you're wearing
have
your
a
blue.
Sweater.
Blue is a good color.
Yeah, I look
baby
pretty
blue.
good in this
You do.
baby blue.
In that Christmas shirt.
Anyways,
Continue
back
with your
to the prompt.
What was it again?
The great idea that I had was
And then the pause where you waited for your brain to catch up.
was to review like some historical couples, lovey-dovey romance movies, things like that. All things love related.
Of course, this is the Love Story Podcast.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so for this debut, for this maiden voyage, if you will.
That was a segue of Titanic proportions.
It was Titanic proportions. The ship is not going down. But so we're going to review the movie Titanic.
Yes. The story, the tale as old as time, one that everybody knows and loves. So what were we doing? We were scrolling Netflix the other night looking at stuff. We also are in the middle of Heated Rivalry, so we will have to do that one next. We're doing our homework, watching that one. We were scrolling through trying to figure out something to watch. I feel like when I say recently watched Titanic, I watched it. Actually, it's not the Titanic. It's just Titanic.
Yeah. Have I been saying the Titanic?
I'm sure you have been. Anyway, so Titanic, I have seen it recently in the last handful of years, I would think.
It's been probably 10 years since I had watched it.
Wow. When did you first watch it?
Oh, I don't know.
I watched it first
when
in
did it
theaters.
come out?
It came out in 97.
97, so I would have been not seeing it in theaters. So
Wow. So what, your family's better than my family?
no, I just wasn't old enough. I don't know.
Yeah, we are the same age.
Okay, but you also have to consider. Do you see my father going, "Hey, son, hop in the car. We're going to Titanic."
Good call. Good call. My
No
grandma-
arguments. No. I don't know when the first time I watched it was, but I remember I've always been like, I've always wanted to find my rose.
Yes.
You know.
Was that your initial when you first watched the Titanic? God, I keep doing. And now, when you first watched Titanic, was that like the first love story that you remember seeing and relating, like, or wanting?
I don't think so, but maybe.
You know what? I'm
Jeez,
sorry, brain buster.
That's a
so
tough
early
one.
on.
I think I remember. So I would have been 9 years old at the time.
Mm-hmm.
All I really remember about the first time seeing it was being like, "That's what I want." Is something grabs you by the,
Heartstrings.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say.
On the tip of your
grabs
tongue.
you by the heartstrings and just pulls you in like that and just intense.
It's interesting that is what shaped your relationship dynamic.
I don't remember saying that.
you
but-
said you saw it and you were like,
that's what I remember about seeing it for
Okay.
the first time.
I remember seeing it for the first time in theaters as the oldest of three siblings, three sisters. It is my job to set the standard of behavior. And so we were sitting, we would have been 9, 8,
doing
and
a
7.
bang up job.
Thank you. Thank you. Every time I think of an experience that I had, I have to then also put myself into, I went to go see the Titanic in theaters at 9 years old. We were 9, 8, and 7. So if anyone has ever asked themselves, why is Allie the way that she is? It's because she was having 9-year-old experiences at 7, and me at 9 years old was having 37-year-old woman experiences at 9 years old. So Allie was having 37-year-old woman experiences at 7 years old. So, yep, I was 12 years old getting my belly button pierced, and she was 12, 11, 10 getting her eyebrows pierced. And Lacey was 11 getting her tongue pierced. So that is a brief History of the Green Girls in a nutshell.
All
So
right.
I went to go see that with my sisters, my mother, and my grandmother. So it was all the matriarchs in one Buick Skylark going down to watch the Titanic at Lakes 10 up in Duluth. And boy, I tell you, nothing will silence a room more than being a child in a movie theater when Rose is naked getting drawn on the couch. That was tough. That was a tough scene to sit through. But that's like 3 hours into the movie.
I feel like maybe we should like circle back. Yeah, maybe go back to the beginning.
Okay, so what was your, as we were watching, was there anything going back and watching it again that was like, that stuck out to you when we first began our viewing Odyssey?
Well, I think it was when you actually mentioned it when we were watching it, Bill Paxton's love for the Titanic.
That's the first love story that we're introduced to.
How he's just like totally enamored with the ship and everything like that. But it doesn't really get into, well, it doesn't at all get into what happens when he doesn't get the heart of the ocean. Is he just like over it? And it kind of is his whole point.
Yeah.
For what he's doing.
I think that's what I like about, like, when you watch Titanic was 3 hours long. So you watch this movie and you get the full Rose and Jack love story. But once it ends, it is like, how do these characters continue on? And so, yeah, what is poor Bill Paxton's character's life like without Titanic and the heart of the ocean?
Right. Is his love for the Titanic or is his love for the
Pursuit of the Titanic?
Pursuit of the heart of the ocean,
Oh.
the jewel?
He was getting pretty gushy about the Titanic early on.
Yes,
yeah.
he is. He's like, yeah, very.
Look at the hull and whatever. Yeah.
Look at the bow on that.
Yeah. Port side, more like starboard. Am I right?
Am I right? Yeah. So that's the first love story, and then you had mentioned Fabrizio and Jack, how they've got some brotherly love going on. They win the tickets to the Titanic.
Yes.
And
to board the Titanic.
and it's on from there. I think I was going to ask if you had any other
do I have any
input
thoughts?
on-
No, Jesse, no, I don't.
Okay.
Continue.
All right, moving on. Then we're introduced to Rose, and she is,
Glamorous.
yes.
And 17,
Yes.
and betrothed to Cal Hockley.
Oh.
We
don't like him.
No, the nemesis of the show.
Yeah, we don't like
Yes,
him at
we thought the
all.
nemesis was the iceberg. It is not.
It is not. It's the icy heart of Billy Zane.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm not coming for Billy Zane here. We're coming for Cal Hockley.
But we were also not talking about the love story of Bill Paxton, but you
I don't remember
decided
his
to-
character's name,
don't
so
either.
yes. So
I didn't remember the Billy Zane's character
Oh.
name. What is it again?
Cal Hockley.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes, it was right on the tip
I
of your
was
tongue.
circling that.
Yes. So old Calvin Klein, Hockley.
And he's a big jerk.
Yes, naturally so. But he doesn't become super jerky until Rose has essentially made a fool of him, which is like
Really? I think
he was a jerk, but he wasn't like he was a jerk of like it could have been passed off as like he's just a wealthy jerk, but then he really like stepped into being like an abusive man when Rose was making a fool of him essentially on the ship and running around cavorting with Jack Dawson.
Yeah, so I'm at the introductions where they're still not on the ship yet. They haven't gotten on the Titanic yet. Billy Zane, I think he's Cal Hockley. I mean, yeah, I think he's a jerk from the very beginning. But I do see what you're saying, how it gets more extreme as he loses
Control
of
essentially, yeah.
her and possession of her. I never really thought about the parallels between the Billy Zane character and the Bill Paxton character. How he gets more desperate to get the jewel as time goes on, just like Cal gets more and more desperate to gain control of her.
I think that speaks to an expression of love where you get to that place of just desperation.
Yeah.
You know,
Obsession.
I think, obsession. And I think that's a symptom of love. Like we were listening to Plays Well with Others, and it gets into talking about that if you take the symptoms of love, it could be classified as a mental disorder
Yes.
with how it changes you, which is also not to justify the Cal character because what's inside comes out in a tense situation like that, or when you're starting to feel a lack of control, what's inside of you is what comes out.
I would argue that there's no love. Cal has no love for Rose. It's all about obsession and control. And the only time he shows any sort of compassion or anything for her, like he puts the coat on her when, you look a fright, he says, and then he sets Jack up.
And that's he's doing that not because I mean, she's the wounded bird in one capacity, and also it's to set up. It's
It's
because he's essentially it's a dog peeing on the hydrant. It's like I'm putting my article of clothing on my bride. You know,
Got it.
She's
Got
mine.
it.
I'm
I see what
claiming
you're
her
saying.
as mine. Yes.
Yeah,
It's called
absolutely.
keep up, not catch up.
Well,
Jess.
that was a tough one. But,
I was circling.
No, being on a
and then
hydrant.
I landed my point. We bounced around quite a bit, though.
Yes, you have.
And we could talk about but it's not really a love story with Cal and Rose, and it's not.
No,
you
it's
know,
not.
like a brotherly love between Fabrizio and Jack is, lovely. What are your thoughts on the overall relationship of Jack and Rose?
On the overall relationship of Jack and Rose, I think they say each other's name way too much.
That's
Definitely.
just
Jack, hey Jack, Rose.
You got an issue with the writers. You don't. It's not.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, got it.
But okay, we shall edit that out. I think overall, it's epitome of what someone looks for, of what I looked for.
Interesting.
Like it was instant. It was like he was enamored with her from the beginning. She was very different, but everything that he wanted.
Don't you think that a lot of relationships kind of start out that way?
I do.
So then
Yes.
what makes the Jack and Rose dynamic, what makes that different than...
I don't know.
Oh.
I didn't say that anything does. Ash.
Okay.
No, that's a good question. I think what makes it different is that she ignores everything that is pulling her in the other direction. She doesn't ignore, I shouldn't say she doesn't ignore it, but she's like, forget it. I don't care about that stuff. Mm-hmm. The status, the expectations of her mother, the expectations of society, the fact that he's got no money. Mm-hmm. None of that, in the end, none of that matters. She just wants to be with Jack.
So if you've said that is something that you have felt drawn to, have you felt, because Jack doesn't have to give up anything to be with Rose, essentially.
Right.
Like he's just kind of continuing to live his life, and then she's coming into it. Do you feel like how does that impact the way that you feel about that? Because she has to be the one to give up all of her everything for this loving relationship, this epitome of love relationship. Would you feel the same way if the roles were reversed, if he had something to give up? And does the dynamic for you when you saw that and you're like, I just want someone to, that's the epitome of love. I would love to be in a relationship where I would give up anything to be with this person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I have been a romantic my whole life, Love has always been, intense love has always been something that I've sought out. And then I've been lucky enough to experience that.
Oh,
with
me.
you, yes.
Oh.
But then, back to what you're talking about Rose giving up everything. She's not giving up anything other than an abusive relationship because, as her mother points out, they don't have anything. They only have their name.
Right. She's giving up the promise of a comfortable life.
Yes.
Yeah. To continue on with
Arguable.
Cal Hockley.
That's very arguable.
Well, and that's what is comfort. Can speak to having lived a female experience. It's the idea of the comfort is less about being able to fully feel your feelings and more about just kind of going along with whatever anyone wants you to do and performing, and then you get your little rewards for that.
And back to the book that we're listening
Plays
to.
Well with Others.
Plays Well with Others is about how the institution of marriage historically has never been about, not never, but has very rarely been about love. It's been about priority and family and carrying on the family name. They were talking
about... It's a business relationship.
And they were talking about ghost marriages, how you marry into a family. You marry a deceased member of a certain family.
Just to get the in-laws.
To inherit that family's things. And that's the position that Rose is in from the beginning. And she is very resistant to it from the beginning as well. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, dare I say, kind of like you. Oh. You're kind of like a rebel. You know what I mean? Like a edgy, can't tell me what to do. You know what I mean? Me? No, I'm not. I'm not teasing you. I'm saying that's what I love about you.
Oh.
Is that going against the grain, and I find that very attractive.
Well,
that's why I like Rose so much.
Okay, so they start their relationship on a fluke, and he talks her down off the ledge, literally, and that was where they met. And then he comes and steps into her world. For him to be able to kind of seamlessly slide into her world, and in a way of he's in on the joke. They're kind of trying to make him the butt of the joke, but he's like, yeah, I know what your game is, and so it's just whatever. Like, he's got a response to everything.
Yeah, and
which is cool confidence.
He's just like, whatever, it is what it is. I'm a poor boy, and I do what I want, and that's all there is to it.
And there is the fragility of being a high achiever, or being like gifted or high achiever from early on, or if you've just been having people placate you from early on, where you don't necessarily have the resilience and the ability to hear anything that would disappoint you or whatever.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't know, because I haven't been a high achiever or a privileged from early on.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying, and I think
I wasn't saying from personal experience.
Yeah, I don't think
I would
either
imagine.
of us really know.
I'm more musing that. What would it be like to have been a high achiever that people thought so highly?
Rich.
Yeah, and for people to have thought well of you.
Yeah, those poor rich folk.
I know.
Fragile rich folk.
Truly struggling. Yeah, which I think, is that just like what poor people tell ourselves, that like how miserable rich people must be because they just are they're fragile they're like a Fabergé egg.
Yeah, but that just makes me think of different surveys in sociology and stuff about how wealth definitely does not translate to happiness. A lot of third world countries, you'll find more happiness per capita than you'll find here. I don't know what it's like to be in that exclusive club, but I would imagine there's a sense of fragility because the bigger they are, the harder they fall, type of thing. The more you have, the more you have to lose. Well, that was Rose's mom
when she was talking about, she's like, could you imagine our fine things being sold at auction?
Do you want me to be a seamstress? Rose.
I know. Yeah. So yeah, there is you have to keep up the airs. But I think that's the thing too, is like everyone is so far, their heads are so far up their own about like how everyone's paying attention to everything and whatever. And it's essentially, it would be like, what's her name? Rose Calhoun or Rose.
Rose. I don't remember.
She went by
Rose Dawson.
I think it was Rose. I don't know. Either way, this is not the last name
Calhoun
podcast.
sounds right.
I think so too, which is why I said it. So is it?
In the movie Titanic, the protagonist Rose, full name is Rose DeWitt
Bukater. Oh.
Bukater.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, yeah.
I do remember hearing that now. Yeah. She was Rose DeWitt Bukater. And so, yeah, essentially it's like you think that everyone's paying attention to you, and then all it would take is for like Rose's poor old seamstress mom to be working as a seamstress for a couple of months. I've said this about the store that we have on the corner, where it's like all it would take would be we close the doors because we go out of business, and very quickly someone would re-rent that space, and it would be like, oh, you remember when this was a whatever? And then that would be it. We would be gone and dust in the wind.
Yes.
So.
And then we all are shadows and dust.
That was an original thought?
No, it wasn't an original thought. I never claimed it to be an original thought. But it's true. It's, people move on and things happen. and. But
it is a scary, I could imagine it's a scary thing. But this isn't the Love of Money podcast.
Yeah, this is a lot of...
a little side conversation.
Hey, Love Story listeners, it's Ashley, and I have a very important confession to make. I recently did something extremely dangerous. I bought my fiance's wedding ring online. But before you judge me, I bought it from Modern Gents, and honestly, I feel kind of like a genius. Wedding planning is expensive. Like, why is this napkin $14 expensive? So when I found Modern Gents, which makes gorgeous handcrafted wedding and engagement rings that look luxury but don't cost we need a second mortgage money, I was sold. They use conflict-free stones, have tons of styles, inclusive sizing, free and fast shipping, easy returns, and a lifetime warranty, which is great because if my fiance loses his ring, I would like to replace the ring and not the fiance. The ring looks amazing, like suspiciously amazing for the price. And Modern Gents has over 1 million happy customers. So I'm clearly not the only one making elite financial decisions over here. So if you're engaged, getting engaged, or just emotionally preparing for how expensive weddings are, go check them out. Head to moderngents.com using the link in the show notes below for a special discount and find your perfect ring.
So let's get back to it. So Rose is considering jumping off the back of the ship, and then Jack starts taking off his garb because he says, I have to jump in. I'm part of it now. Side note, I like the part... And I only know him from the second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. He's the professor. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
The guy, he makes Toko and Razor in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. He's Cal's bodyguard.
Oh,
He's the professor from TMNT. I like how he's like, interesting that you had time to take off your jacket
and your
and your
shoes.
shoes.
Great impression.
That's it. So after the rescue mission, Jack is brought into their
Yes.
society, into their exclusive club, and I think Cal looks at him more as just like a pesky bug than any real concern at that point. What are your thoughts on when Jack joins them?
I like it.
Yeah.
Just that his cool confidence throughout the whole
I agree.
thing. And he's kind of like the entertainment for the evening, you know, tell us a story and blah, blah, blah. And then he just kind of goes on. I was sleeping under a bridge and now I'm here on the
Yeah.
greatest ship in the world having
Yeah.
champagne with you fine people.
I love when he throws Cal the matches. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, Cal. Yeah.
And
Do you think he's just cool as a cucumber, or do you think he's just oblivious? He's never been a part
both.
of.
I think it's both. I think he's very comfortable with the life that he's lived in his
Mm-hmm.
lot in life. What I think was endearing too is when you watch him like mimicking all of the fancy folk before he's going down to dinner and he's holding himself a certain way and whatever. And
Honorable mention, I think Kathy Bates' character.
oh,
She
the
is
unsinkable Molly
she is-
Brown.
Yes, she is great. How she kind of guides. I mean, she's talking about the forks. What do I use to eat? And she's like, just start on the outside and work your way
Yeah.
in. Yeah. I really like
These
her
are all for
character.
me.
It's
Yeah.
really,
The Molly Brown story that's kind of a fascinating historical story too.
I know nothing about it.
Oh,
We'll
she's
have
yeah,
to-
she's real. She's based on a real
Is she the one
person.
that you said went on to be in like two
No.
other shipwrecks? Who was that?
No, that was just a stewardess.
Oh,
on the
that was a
ship.
different survivor.
different
from
real life
Titanic.
survivor. Yeah, she went down on the Titanic, couldn't swim, terrified of water,
It's
became
just
a stewardess.
Titanic.
And
It's not
sorry,
about Titanic.
sorry, and then went on to have two other shipwrecks. And now enough of the shipwreck podcast. Let's get back to love. So
Yes. They're at dinner.
yes, and they're having a nice time. What moment do you think for each one of them? What moments do you think they fell in love with the other one?
That's a good question. I'm not sure about Jack, but I think for her, I think when, I don't know the moment that she fell for him, but when she shows it is when she's down at the party below deck. And she's just able to be who she, is able to do whatever and having fun. And I think that's when she's like, okay, I'm here. And then a little bit later, she tries to like push him back away because that's after Mom's is like, what are you doing? You're
Yeah.
going to screw this up.
And Cal had snapped on her
Yep.
at breakfast, and yeah.
So that was the breakfast scene was the scene after the party.
And then
And-
Mom came in and was tightening her corset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like, I mean, it's kind of a relatable. I mean, I've experienced a situation where you're like, I'm just gonna kind of make a decision, do whatever I want to do, and then what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do differently? Are you
Yeah.
gonna blow up your entire life for this?
Yeah.
Maybe this man, and without knowing that they were never getting off the Titanic together.
Do you think they would have changed anything if they knew the Titanic was going to go down?
I don't think so. What do you think their life would have been like if, everything was peaches and rainbows and they got off the Titanic together? What
I
do you
thought
think?
about that. I think that's just where true tests come in. They only knew each other for like a couple days,
Yeah.
and she remembered him for 84 years, right? It was 84
But
years.
he got to live perfectly. It was, what was the other thing that we were watching? When we watched Good Will Hunting, we were on a 1997 all-time banger movie marathon. Because that's what we had watched. First we watched Good Will Hunting. This was how we started watching even the Titanic. We first watched Good Will Hunting.
Yes.
And I
we
hit
wanted
you with
to-
the anecdote that,
Yes.
Good Will Hunting, banger, stands the test of time. Also came out in 1997 and up against As Good as It Gets, Jack Nicholson, also a banger. Another love story that we're going to have to address. I can't say if it stands the test of time. We have not yet revisited it in current time, but to go up against all three movies came out in 1997, all great movies,
It was a good
but
year.
it's Titanic. It's Titanic for the win.
But it's not the
So-
1997 movie review podcast.
What? Let me get back to my point. So in Good Will Hunting, Robin Williams' character says because Matt Damon had made the comment where he said, so are you going to call her? Because I went on a date, whatever. And Robin Williams, therapist of Matt Damon, says, are you going to call her? And he said, nah, I'm not going to call her. Because what? So I can find out that she's,
Right.
she's not that.
So
She's wicked smart. She's beautiful, whatever. And then what? So no, I'm going to call her to find out that she's not that smart. And she's not, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, can I just keep saying smart?
Yeah.
She's not
Go
that
for
smart.
it. Go for it. We're here
She's
for a
wicked
reason.
smart. Wicked
smart.
This is the Boston accent corner of the podcast. She's wicked smart. Wicked
You're
smart.
wicked pretty.
Is that what they say? Anyway, so then what Robin Williams then follows up with is, and also you get to be this version of yourself. For her to find out that you're not that smart and you're not that fun and charming and whatever, which I think it is. So for 84 years, she kept Jack Dawson in her pocket.
Before we move on from Good Will Hunting, I started out saying that at the time when I first saw Titanic, that was the epitome of love for me. However, now that I am,
37 years old.
80 and many moons later,
Yep.
37 years old, I epitomize love more as how Robin Williams feels about his late wife in Good Will Hunting. I think that is what I've looked for as I've matured
Yes.
and arguably matured and
Question
gotten
matured.
older at least.
Yes. Yeah, aged in the face.
Yes.
Which is,
When he's like, what does he say?
he said, "Don't you ever disrespect."
My wife there, Chief.
Is that what he said?
I will end you.
I don't know. I think you're mixing up movie.
Yeah,
quotes.
he grabs him
When
by
he
the
grabbed
neck.
him, yes, and then he said, I think at the end of that, after you let him go, he said, "Time's up, Chief," or something like that. Well, but
About Titanic.
to go back to your point, I think that just shows like how love ages. They were young, and it's exciting, and it's flashing lights, and we're on the Titanic, and it's this like big proclamation of like
Where
I'm
are the
gonna-
flashing lights?
when the Titanic was sinking.
That
was- yes.
Yeah, and the power is going out.
Yes. So the big proclamations of love of like, I'm going to leave my whole family for you and whatever, that's all like sexy and exciting and it feels so like noble and all of these things.
Yeah.
When really what it is like acts of love are just the quiet, like what Robin Williams, when he's talking about it
Yes.
in Good Will Hunting,
Yes,
he's talking
absolutely.
about the quiet moments that are just, you can make a big proclamation and you can say, I'm going to leave everything for you and I'm going to whatever. But what love really is just the everyday showing up in the quiet moments and the loving through all of the.
Can it be both?
I think it can be, but I think everybody loses you lose your
yes.
mind for the big proclamations, and
I
everybody
see what
points
you're
to the big
saying.
proclamations of like, look, she was going to leave everything
For
for
sure.
him, and also would that have stood the test of time? Over 84
knows?
years, if they would have lived together and loved together and built a life together and whatever, would that have been enough? And what realistically, what is it that he could have offered her? And what could she have offered him for a lifetime together?
Yeah.
I kind of think, maybe unpopular opinion, I kind of think that their relationship was perfect in their, 48 hours together. And I don't foresee that relationship having lasted.
But yeah, with all with the mountains of information we gathered from that 3-hour movie, I've heard statistics about, like the loss of a child in a relationship or something like that. And the people who, that people tend to sort of turn away from each other in those times, and that you need to turn towards each other in order to make it through things like that. I wonder a traumatic experience like a sinking ship. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
The ship does sink. Oh, she's sinkable. She'll sink. She's made of iron. She'll
I
sink.
assure you, she'll sing.
She's sink. I like
Yeah,
that.
she's made of iron.
So I wonder what, a traumatic experience like that would do for in a relationship.
I think there's some degree of like it would help kind of be the glue, but ultimately too, like I think it would start out bringing you closer together, but if there isn't anything else to continue to build upon, if you aren't continuing to choose each other, I think your brain compartmentalizes things like that, where it would be like, okay, yes, that happened, but after 20 years, is that going to be the thing that keeps your relationship together? I think it would have been the thing that drew them closer together if she would have made room for him on the raft as she could have, as she should have.
Okay, that's a later question. We're gonna.
I don't know that we've got much time left. I
Oh,
think.
we're not there yet.
Okay.
Do you think it could be a traumatic experience like that? Could be a good springboard for?
I definitely think so.
There's a book that I've read that talks about there's a period of time after a shipwreck. They literally talk about from steerage to captain's table. Captain's table is like the higher class, and then steerage is the poor people section. But once the ship sinks, there's some camaraderie between everybody, but that wears off very quickly.
Right.
So I'm more musing right now. I'm musing about how that could be a springboard for the relationship.
Yeah.
Rather than, oh, yeah, we went through that thing. But who knows?
I think there is a time and place. It's kind of like, don't you remember that I got you roses for Valentine's Day? It's kind of a little bit of like, roses for Valentine's Day will get you a portion of time of feeling sentimental or whatever. So I would imagine, going through a sinking ship together and getting off and living a happy life together is like, yeah, that'll last for a little while. But
Yeah.
it's like, you've done nothing else to bring me closer to you. You're just continuing to hang your hat on the fact that we both survived a traumatic experience together. Get some new material, you know?
Okay, I feel like you're laser focused on the one. Jack is just.
just feel-
Jack is just like, hey, don't you remember? We went down in the ship.
No,
Anyways.
I wasn't sure what you were doing. I wasn't going to draw attention to it.
At the end of the movie, when she's laying in her bed, it pans through all the
Ugh.
pictures of.
Just weeping.
Through my tears, I see the picture frames that she
Yes.
has on the side of her bed of all these experiences that she has done. She's on a plane and then.
On a horse, on the beach.
So she, I mean,
in front
apparently she came into some money later on. But like the fact that Jack talks about what is his make it count.
Yeah.
That was his thing. So I think there could be some merit to the experiences that she wants to have and the fact that Jack is like that. I have hope for the old boy, you know, that he could have
Sure.
kept her entertained instead of just being like, hey, do you remember the boat?
Well, I think there is a good point to that because he kept her interest. He got her interest not because he saved her from going over the edge, but because he saw her for who she really was. And I think he showed her who he really was right start too. And there wasn't any false pretenses of anything. So maybe their relationship would have lasted.
This is a two-parter.
Ooh.
The first part is that they both literally sacrifice themselves at different parts throughout the movie. They sacrifice themselves for the other person. And the second part is who sacrifices more throughout the movie.
Interesting.
Because Jack knows when Cal is setting him up, and he's like, get on the lifeboat, Rose, 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 you know, says her name
Yeah,
16
over and
times.
over again.
He's like, get on the lifeboat. And then Cal says, yeah, we've got a deal. I'll get Jack on a boat. And Jack knows that he's not
Yeah.
going to get him on another boat. So he's sacrificing himself there. He doesn't keep trying to get on the huge board that arguably has
It
places
has room
for
both
6
of them.
people.
Yes. If you've got one, you've got room to stack two. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000
You have
times.
said it once, and that's twice now. What do you think? Who sacrifices more? I'm talking more in terms of literally
If we're talking balancing the
sacrificing.
scales.
Yes.
I think you bring up a good point there. I think it's fairly even across the board. I think it was very rudimentary of me to say that she's giving up everything for him, whatever. But I am looking at it from the perspective of like, I am a lady. I'm looking at what the lady is doing and I'm relating to what Rose's character is experiencing.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's a good point that he literally was like,
Yeah.
you jump, I jump.
And the same with her. She does the same thing. You know, she's like, I'm not going anywhere without you.
right.
And you said that you wouldn't let me, you wouldn't get on a boat.
Not a chance.
And I said I would make you.
And I would
would
kick and scream the whole
Throw
time.
you on the boat.
And I would jump off the way she did. Yeah.
Hey, yep.
We also did say how we would have gotten off the Titanic is we would have just, when it started to go down, we would have just put on a couple of life jackets and grabbed a table and just pushed it out into the Atlantic.
Yeah, give me some toothpicks, duct tape, and dental floss, and I will have us a life raft in no time.
Are you a florist?
Yeah, kind of. In training.
In training.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would have just taken a table or something, flipped it upside down and sat on it and pushed out into the
We
Atlantic.
would not
and-
have used a table.
Then what would we
be
have
like a
used?
hutch or something.
Okay, we
something
would-
something
okay.
with some walls. Not that it's going to be watertight or anything like that.
But we would have stayed warm.
But you'd want some buoyancy and some.
understand.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Table.
If we started
So
taking on water, though.
Table. Find something. Find a big sheet of metal, and then you just put it on. And
She's iron. I
She's
assure
iron.
you. She'll sink.
sink.
Yeah.
Anyways, could he have fit on
Yes.
the board?
Yes.
They tried.
Yeah, but but do you see the way that it was shaped? They were getting
Hold on. I am not arguing for or against. I'm not saying.
I'm glad you said that because I
Yes,
just
because
saw red.
you were like, hey.
Yeah, I was laser focused on
Yes,
fighting
you
with
were.
you.
You were.
I think there is, if you understand the laws of physics, you can make anything happen. You know, I think she's just get one on one side, one on the other, counterbalance. You know, you got a pivot point and then up you go. And like I have said time and time again, if you've got room for one, you've got room to stack two. So
You got room to stay. Okay, but you also, because you had talked about this, how, like, if you and I were in that
Yeah.
situation, I'm like twice the size of Jack.
Huh?
Okay.
you
And
climb
so-
on first, you get on.
and then the board sinks.
It wouldn't
and then
sit-
I mean, okay, it doesn't sink, but it like flips. You know what I mean? They try to get on it and it flips.
yeah. I would hold down the one side, You get on the other side.
Okay. While we're
Down.
freezing in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah. Well,
Got it.
listen, adrenaline, love and adrenaline.
True that.
You know,
True that. That's true. And I think
love and adrenaline is going to be our band name.
love and adrenaline.
Yeah.
Yeah, love and adrenaline conquers all.
Yep.
I think, yeah, just the whole way they were just like running around the ship the entire time rather than being like, hey, what floats? Good.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody's so fixated on the boats.
Staying on the boat. Yeah. Let's focus
Yeah.
on getting off the boat.
Yeah.
And let's focus on getting off the boat in a hutch that is
Yeah.
buoyant.
Yeah.
Get a couple of life jackets on.
You could strap life jackets to
That's
it.
what I was thinking.
God darn it.
I know. See,
Yeah,
this is
we're gonna make it.
we would make it.
We should go on a ship.
We
and,
could.
and purposely sink it. You know what I mean?
Or
Just
how
to
about
try.
we get a hutch and a couple of old timey life jackets?
That would work too.
And push
yes.
out on Lake George and see if we can. Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Let's not put our
on
life
Lake
in-
George though. They're gonna be like, we're gonna get arrested. We get wested.
I like their love story.
I do.
You brought up some good counterpoints that you think they would have made it.
I have faith in the little guy. You know, just little old Jackie.
Yeah. Keep
Old
challenging her.
Jackski.
And,
So you think they could have fit on the board easily?
yes.
The
I
thing
do.
back to
The
is it like
hot topic.
a mantle or something from a? It looks like a mantle from a
Yeah.
fireplace. I think they show it like one camera angle and it's this size, and then the next
Mm-hmm.
camera angle it's twice the length of her.
Yeah.
If you take where she's laying on it at the end and you see it from above, it's like, why is this
So
100
difficult.
pound soaking wet dude not
Yes.
laying on there with you? Yeah.
And I mean, there's many points to bring up the short end of the stick that Jack Dawson got from that, because he could have fit up there. Even still, it's like fit up there. Let's sit crisscross applesauce up here. We're out of the water. You know, we'll sit huddled in the middle. We'll balance ourselves.
Yeah.
I'd keep you stay here with me. Keep you coherent.
I've got enough fluff where I feel like I had been all right.
You could
For quite a while. I don't think in that situation. I mean, and this is nice to talk about. If I was on Titanic while it was sinking, I would do this. But I feel like,
Is it nice?
yeah, I've had a
Okay.
nice time.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you.
Okay.
Thank you. I've had a nice time. I hope you are.
As the co-host, it
Yeah.
is your job to make sure that the
Can we just call me the coast?
coast, yeah,
Shorten it up, make it more
Sure.
efficient.
yeah,
As the coast, I have
truly just coasting along over here as the host is doing all the work. But continue,
the hostess
coast.
with the most.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that. You go ahead.
You have enough fluff that you would have.
Yeah, I would only a couple hours, and I had shared the experience that I had when tipping a canoe in the middle of like October, which is the water was probably 40 degrees rather than what would the temperature of the water have been?
In the North Atlantic in
Yeah.
April,
Yeah,
probably. I mean, it's 32 degrees is freezing.
mm-hmm.
You know, I'd say probably. Well, Jack talks
just
about
north,
it.
just
yeah.
north to 30.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Freezing,
I mean there
maybe
would
a
have been
little
a
above.
big difference.
Have the degrees.
Yes.
What were the
What is
degrees?
the degrees?
28 degrees Fahrenheit.
28 degrees. Yeah, I would have
God.
made it for a while.
You think so?
Yes, I was in 40-degree water, and I was like, a buddy of mine, we had one life jacket. The other one went down with the ship, the canoe, and it was like 40 degrees the water was. Then again, 14 degrees lower is quite the difference. But
yeah. It wasn't windy though.
but he was turning blue by the time we got to shore. And I was like, dude, what's wrong? What's going on? Are you all right? He's like, I'm just really cold. And he's a smaller guy.
Yeah. Thanks for that
Anyways.
anecdote, Jess.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just saying for you and I to switch, for you to be like, okay, you sit on the board now and I'll sit on the board. It would be much more difficult for me. First of all, for me to get on the board, like physically, I would have the strength to get myself onto it. But how do you put this much body onto a board in the middle of water?
Right.
You know what I
Which
mean?
is why if you get off the Titanic, you stand on the deck and you
It's
just
just Titanic. If you get off Titanic,
Yes,
you get
you're
off
right.
the ship.
You get off the ship, little T Titanic, push yourself out.
Yeah.
We could have survived. And our love will stand the test of time.
Yep.
Luckily, we don't have to go down with the Titanic to
Nice.
test our love. Neither one of
Yeah.
us has to die.
So Ashley,
Yeah,
here's the question now. What would you give this out of 10?
Titanic. Well, I mean, it swept the Golden Globes that year,
Yeah.
1997, and it had some stiff competition. And going back and rewatching it again, here we are, almost 30 years later.
It's been that long. Holy mackerel.
We were, as we were watching it, gripping the edge of our seats as the water's coming.
No, I wasn't.
You were.
I was on the couch.
You were
I was
gripping.
not
You
gripping
still were
anything.
gripping. Emotionally, you were gripped. Emotionally, it was a cinematic masterpiece. I'd put it at 9.5.
9.5. Okay.
Out of
And
10.
I think about
I'm a high ranker though. I give a lot of stars.
I mean,
away.
it's a great movie.
It is.
I think it deserves a very high ranking, but if that movie doesn't get 10, what movie gets 10? Before I give my answer, I would like to know.
Let's go back at the end of the year. We'll revisit everything, all of our rankings, and then we'll see now that we've consumed a year of cinema. After a year, we'll go back and say, okay, now that you have had more exposure to other things, now that we've gone through and watched all of the 1997 bangers, do we still agree that
All of them?
Titanic swept the nation?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I think I would rank it 10 out of 10.
What are the metrics?
Abby, what are we
Make up the
ranking?
metrics.
When you look at what makes a good movie, I think it has everything.
Yeah, it had great storyline. It had great actors. It was gripping, kept us truly on the edge of our seats.
The climax.
Yeah. Which one? This one?
Yes.
It had a great climax.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just the story in general. Come on, that's the part of it. And then the what are we using for rating? For just what we think of it?
Quality of love stories. There's
Quality.
plural of them in there.
Yes.
Yes. I think they really showed I think it was true love.
I think it was raw and it was in the moment. It was exactly, it was caught up with this person, made a deep connection with this person. I say they made a heated connection. I think they made it was an intense connection.
On multiple occasions, they say, I'm going to let myself die for you.
Yeah, but that's kind of the easy thing. You know, you have to choose to live for someone for 84 years. You can die for anyone. What is that song? You know, I die for you. That's easy to do.
Never heard
But
it.
it's a 21 Pilot song or 21.
But is it actually?
It's
Is it
a lot
actually
harder to-
easy to just...
You could die for anybody.
Be
You,
like,
you
"Hey,
could
I'll-"
die for anybody. We've talked about it where it was like if you saw an injustice in the street, you'd step in and you would step in.
But
and
it's also different when you're talking about freezing to death
It's
in
true.
the North Atlantic.
Yes, but still, it's harder to live for someone than it is to die for someone.
Oh my gosh, I have so much to think about because
You
of
do.
this.
You do.
So what would you change your rating now that we're talking about
Metrics of a love story.
metrics of a love story?
I
Would you
think-
change your rating?
I think as a movie, it was captivating and it hit all the bangers. But as a love story, I would put it at a 6 out of 10.
Wow.
It's just barely above
Holy
average
mackerel.
for me. Yeah.
I think it does better than a 6. I think I would give their love a 8 out of 10 because
Why? Justify yourself.
because I will. I will justify myself because of the fact that they sacrifice, right, their person for each other on multiple occasions, and the fact that we don't know. He dies. So we can't really say, "Oh, they weren't going to work." Because we
Right.
don't know.
But we also can't say, oh, they were going to work
right.
either.
And
Yeah.
that's why I give it an 8 rather than 10. Because if they would have worked, then it would be 10 out of 10. Because it was hard, it was fast, it was intense, it was all the things.
And then they were able to ride the intensity into.
If they were able to do that,
If they were
then
able
it
to
would be
ride-
10 out of 10. But
Got it.
since we don't know, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
All right.
Abby, what would you
Respectable.
give it?
Not to meet in the middle of two parents here, but probably 7.
Abby gives it a 7.
Abby
all right.
splits the difference of the
All
7.
right. 6, 7, 8.
Yep.
Oh, no, it's 6, 7.
Okay, I feel good. I'll do more episodes like this with you. You can stay on as the coast.
Will you?
Yeah, I will. What are we gonna do next? We're gonna have to talk about heated rivalry, of course.
Heated rivalry.
It's starting to get the second
Yeah. Yes,
episode
it's
that
getting
we're
better.
on. I'm
getting
liking.
better.
Yeah, I'm liking the
Yeah.
episode. It's less about just sex,
Yeah.
hockey, hockey.
Click, 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 click. Yeah,
Yes,
the first couple episodes are very much just,
sex and hockey, and then the passage of time,
yeah.
and then
it's
more
like,
sex
okay.
and more hockey and more passage of time.
Yeah.
It's
It's a
boring.
great life. It leaves a
Not-
lot to be desired on a podcast talking about it.
Yes, and also while watching it, you're just like,
Yeah. We
you
get
were like,
it.
do you need me to pause it? And it's like, I think I kind of know
Yeah, what's going to
what's
happen?
about to happen. Yeah, historical data will tell me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do want to talk about Good Will Hunting too.
Goodwill Hunting.
And As Good as It
and then
Gets.
we've got some As Good as It Gets. That's a good one. We've got some Reddit questions to talk about. I don't know. We can go wherever we want. Right?
We sure can.
I mean, wherever you want. Host.
No,
Host.
Coast. I'm so happy to get your input. Thanks for
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for talking about.
Well, thank you for
Titanic.
joining me on my maiden voyage.
Okay, we'll see if it's sinkable or unsinkable.
Oh, she's made of iron. I assure you, she'll sink.
Thanks for that. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Love Story Podcast.
Be sure to leave us a rating and review and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes.